What are your figures right now?
For the last 3 months, I did 11. I did last year, I did 12.5. I mean, last month I did 12.5. And this month I'm at 13.
Nice,
So
man.
yeah.
Do you think before that, before coming through with us, do you think that would have been possible?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
All right, we have Colin in the house. Can I get a hell yeah? Welcome to the
I'm here.
10K
I'm here.
club. What up?
10G,
What up? What up?
10G Colin, 10G Collins in the house.
10G, 10G,
10G, don't get it twisted.
10G in the 10K club. Hello, baby. All right.
That's right.
So, my man, look, what was the biggest problem that you knew that you wanted solving before like what drove you to joining us?
It was I knew I had an IP basically in my head, but didn't know how to put it out there into a course in coaching and being able to serve, the people that I wanted to work with, and kind of trying to figure out some type of structure to make it work.
Makes sense. And so, what did you choose us then?
I loved the organization that you had in the way of how you kind of understood what people were looking for, and it was something like I guess it's me. I'm a skeptical. I'm a New Yorker, right? So I'm always whatever. But I knew what you were teaching. Meant things in a way that you can pull out what someone had in their head as far as the things that they learned over the years.
So you said you're skeptical, right? So what was the
Yes.
turning point? And look, there's nothing wrong with skeptical thinking. I think
Yeah.
it's important to have questions. What was the initial thought? Then what was the moment where you were like, yeah, you know what, this is it? Like what allowed you to trust, whether it's me or the process or
It was basically you. It was listening to you in Clubhouse and knowing that you knew what you were talking about and you could handle any case, and what you were giving people, it was basically a format, and not just that. It was, it can be for any individual for a type of business, and all you had to implement is what your business was and put it into it and use this this formula that's been successful. So I wanted to use that.
got it. So it was like it was the demonstration of the fact
Yes.
that there was a methodology in place
Hmm.
and that I was always talking from a methodology rather than, which is common. A lot of people in the information space, they don't really have a methodology structure. And so ours is very method based. And so, like it is a duplication process. Once you put it in, once you go through the frameworks, the offer codex and the closer process, these are all frameworks of which, like take you through that steps. Which, what do you think has been the best, support wise? Because a lot of people often say, is the support any good? That most people have bought a program today without support and realized, that they were sold a concept and then that person's not there, or
Right.
those
Oh,
are
I like the whole team atmosphere of it. From the calls, listening. A lot of times, like I could find myself being busy, but I could listen in on the Monday and Thursday calls and hear from what you're giving to other people and kind of implement it in something that I might have had a problem with, and also the sales call. I think that's important because it gives a person a different vision as far as how to monetize and not to move too fast, and so I think that was real important.
so you're saying, sorry, the consultancy clinics on a regular basis, you like that,
Yes, correct.
and and
And the
then
sales call.
and the closer process of how to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. That I'd say that's the num I'd say it's one of the highest things that people love the most, understanding like the framework to that. And it's what we call reverse engineering. So reverse engineer selling, you're not pushing anyone to actually sell. You're just you're literally knocking out every objection. So the process is seamless. But yeah, dude, I appreciate that. What do you think? Why do you think, actually, no, more specifically, what do you think your biggest belief change has been? Because obviously, like you're still growing in this process, and that's normal, setting up the automation as it sets up and as you start to build. But for someone like yourself, I know that you knew that you had IP, but like it wasn't like a real thing, and then now
Right.
it is a real thing. So is there been a belief like difference to what you believe is possible versus where you were before, not knowing that that was a real possibility for you, maybe?
Oh
Or
yeah, absolutely. I guess seeing, not just seeing the results, but knowing how to ask for things, and when not just like, knowing your worth. Because sometimes, like, hearing you say, well, no, you shouldn't do a $20 program, or you shouldn't do this, and hearing that, where, like, I might have been in a situation where hearing what other people are doing
Mhm.
and seeing that that's working, and you saying that's too long, that's you're selling yourself short. So just not that, also knowing, as far as like, I feel like I'm a natural salesperson, but just the parts of like listening in the course and saying about the silence, and just those added things kind of really help.
So I think the thing that you could have been like really down is like unfortunately the majority go with watching a big influencer and then think that like a lower price, because it kind of makes sense, like start with a lower price thing, just create like a little course or some information thing, and like it looks like that should be an easier sell.
Yeah.
However, that's actually much, and the majority don't realize that that's actually the hardest sell. The hardest sell is a low price product, because in order to sell a low price product, you actually have to stack up so
So
much
many.
so much credibility, so much high level value in order to persuade someone to buy at a low price. And anyone that's selling at a low price has a huge back end, right? That so that you go through the first bit, then you go through the second bit, then you go through the third bit, and they've got this massive back end which allows them to be profitable. And that, look, there's nothing wrong with that, it's great, but you can't start there. And it seems like most people think that that's the easiest option. So you could have gone down that route, and like as you start building your following, thinking that that's an easier option. However, starting one-to-one and validating that, getting clarity on that, so that you actually sell at a decent level, because you've got great experience, you've got great, and then create an asset on the go, which is very much going to be our next stages of that. Then
Right.
you can build down mini assets off the back of that. And it's upsetting that the majority never really get that. And I totally get it. It is very counterintuitive to think that actually you can actually sell at a higher price to begin with, offer personalization, create your program on the go, start to get
Yeah.
good at it on the go, and then create your assets off the back of that.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah.
I like listening to you, and actually, and I was fighting back and forth. Well, should I do it? Should I just start getting a couple of sales under my belt? And I just went, like I told you, I started right out $5,000
Yeah,
and
nice.
didn't flinch or anything.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, because I had people that were reaching out to me, and it wasn't because I wasn't promoting anything. I didn't, and once they started reaching out to me, I just started saying, you know what, just let me start shooting my numbers.
Cool. Makes sense. So look, was there anything that was holding you back decision wise about joining us? Is there anything you were hesitant about, worried about?
Yeah, I think the main thing, not knowing if I was ready, but just being committed, because, and I think the thing, what has been for me, is like even getting on this call. Like, I could have got on this call 2 months ago with you, because I already had hit that point, and I was just like, I wanted to, figure out. And what was hesitant about me is, I know you talk about, and I've heard you say this many times, like, if you're doing this part time, you're not giving your all. And I wanted to find out, so it was kind of like, okay, should I be joining? And if I'm still working, and, that's not being fully committed. So that was the only part. And, I don't like to be, a person who contradict what I'm kind of trying to preach as well.
No, I get that. It's that the time element is
Hmm.
it is the thing where, like, once it does always cost time. Does it cost a lot of time? Like, not a lot. Do you have to structure stuff around? Yeah, of course. But then once you've got it set up, like that is a ongoing,
Yeah.
challenge for any entrepreneur to stay focused. And once you start seeing like the elements of having automated lead flow, you're going to start realizing, shit, this is where the money's at, because
Yeah.
because you can sit back and, like most people tend to, you know this, will never take any time off their business. But like, I
Right.
had COVID last year or whatever, and people are worried, are you saying, are you worried about your business? I'm like, not at all, because it's completely automated, which means that, I can literally replace myself. And so if you never, like if you never face that challenge of sorting out your time, then you never get access to real freedom of time. Most people don't have access, and like the highest percentage of the world will never have access to true freedom of time. And I can't even begin to express how amazing it is. It's like, that's all I ever wanted in life.
Yeah.
Really true freedom to, like, if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. And it's like, it is amazing, dude. So that's where we're going with that. And I get the initial block on that. So I appreciate that's a great share. Is there anything specific, like, for example, because sometimes people say, is actually Ed on the consultation clinics? One of the biggest things we have is people go, is he there, or is he just not there? Does he actually give a shit? Or do people sometimes say, like, is the actual support any good in the group? It is, are the
Oh
clinics
yeah,
any
no,
good?
that means a lot. Coming on and hearing you talk to people and giving basically, you're hearing, you're looking in the chat and seeing, being able to help one-on-one exactly what someone's going through, and taking the time with them and walking them, because I think it gives added value to other people who are listening that at some point are going to go through that same pain point as a business owner. And then you can either, if you haven't gone through it, you might go through it, but you already know what to do to help you from. So it's good hearing you and, being involved with it, right, as well.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. What are your figures right now?
For the last 3 months, I did, 11. I did last year, I did 12.5. Last month I did 12.5. And this month I'm at 13.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Do you think before that, before coming through with us, do you think that would have been possible?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Nice, man. What would you be in your biggest cost of not doing this?
I guess it's the length of time of learning it. If not, by not doing this, like, I guess, like, being in the business that I am, it took me a lot of years to learn what I know. And if it was a shortcut or something to understand, doing it from a business perspective, this has definitely been, for me, to your question, is this time. Not doing this with you would have cost me so much time trying to learn to where I want to be at.
Nice. So it was worth the investment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What would you tell someone who was on the edge, Tenji,
that
was about to join?
Yeah. I would basically, say, like, if you believe in yourself and, you definitely have something that's worth IP or worth teaching, and you want to serve other people, and you're going to be in a position to grow yourself and grow your business, you can't wait. And the longer you procrastinate, the longer the journey is going to be to getting where you want to be.
When people say they know everything, right? Because
Right.
we live in this world where they and it's no judgment, like, they've listened to a podcast, they've watched YouTube videos, they've bought books and haven't read it, they've bought programs and haven't used it, but they still think there's an element where they've got it all nailed down, right? But yet they don't have, like, consistent flow. And I'm always, it blows my mind, like, because as you start to become more consistent with your entrepreneurship, you increase your levels of awareness, and it's like you're only lying to yourself, right? So, like, what would you say to someone that says, like, what would you say to someone that says, hey, look, I know it all already, but yet they don't have the result?
I would basically tell them, when you think you know it all, some of the greatest, entrepreneurs, they're consistently learning. And the more you want to learn, the more you're going to take yourself to another level. And there's definitely a lot of speed to it when someone else helps you. There's things that you may have thought you knew, but the process was a lot longer to get to there, where somebody can give you an idea and a shortcut, and being in this type of program will definitely help you get there.
Yeah, I'll add in on like specifically learning what you need as well, because like I think we
Yeah.
live in a world where a lot of people classify themselves as learners, which is definitely cool. You know, I'm a massive learner, but it's learning specifically what you need to get
Yeah.
specific outcomes. And there's a slight distinction in there, because a lot of times people go, I remember I did one recently, and he was like, I was so glad that I wasn't like learning loads of stuff, and I was compounding on stuff that I needed, and more specific strategies to go X to Y in the quickest way possible without loads of information. So yeah, I agree with you. Right. That being said, my man, thank you so much. I appreciate you, because it doesn't work without amazing people like you, Tenji. So give yourself a hand. Right, give him a high five, and let's get clear on your next steps, bro. Okay.